Hey, what's up everybody? Garrick Rowley here with Duty to Train, and welcome to the very first Dry Fire Friday training video. I made a poll earlier this week and I asked you all, would you be interested in a video series like this? And 44 people said yes and nobody said no. So I'm giving the people what they want, and this is going to be an ongoing kind of training series going forward. Every single Friday I'll come out with a 15-minute training video, and that way you don't have to kind of come up with your own ideas. It just gives you something to follow along to, kind of like a home workout program, right? If you had to work out at home by yourself, you'd be like, I don't know, like what am I supposed to do? But you order P90X, it comes to your door, you do that, you get ripped in 90 days, right? It just makes it a lot easier if you just have to follow a program. And so that's what I hope to be for you. So I thought a really good place to start is getting into our lockbox, getting our pistol to condition 1, which means a round is in the chamber, our magazine's inserted, we're up on target, and we're ready to fire. You don't have to do anything else. And the reason I think this is really important to start with this is I think it's really overlooked, because a lot of people go to the range, they practice, putting in the magazine, but not really doing everything all at once. They put in their magazine, get everything comfortable, and then they kind of just get up on target and start firing. But in the moment, you're going to have to do all of this at once. So that's what I want to practice. So I store my pistol condition 3, which means the magazine is inserted, but I still have to cock it to put a round into the chamber. So however you store your pistol, condition 4 is totally empty, no magazine inserted, no round in chamber. Condition 3 is when you put the magazine in, but you still have to cock it. There's still no round in the chamber. Condition 2 applies to hammer fire pistols, and not going to get into that right now because I don't have one. But then condition 1 is when you cock the pistol and you're totally ready to go. Once you pull that trigger, it's going to fire. So however you store your pistol, that's how I want you to practice today. So actually, real quick, before we get started, I want to make sure that we're being safe. So first weapon safety rule, treat every weapon as if it is loaded, even when you know that it's not. Second weapon safety rule is never point your weapon at anything you don't intend to destroy. Third weapon safety rule, keep your finger straight and off the trigger until you're up on target and ready to fire. And the fourth weapon safety rule is know your target and what lies beyond. Now, in order to make sure that we're not training with a loaded pistol, let's clear ours out real quick. So if you have a manual safety, go ahead and engage that. Remove the magazine, lock the slide to the rear, conduct a 3-point check of your chamber, where the bullet goes, magazine well, that hole right there, and then the slide face, which is just the back right here. And once you've ensured that all 3 areas are totally clear, you can send your slide home, and now you know you're working with a completely cleared out pistol. Now, put your pistol in your lockbox, however you store it, close it up, and let's start practicing. Let's just take our time, and you don't have to go rep for rep with me in any of these videos. Right? Make sure you get a good grip, and I'll just cover that real quick. High firm grip here, no space. High middle finger on the trigger guard. Finger straighten off the trigger, thumb out of the way. Index finger to the trigger guard. Fold everything, eliminate all this space. Maximum contact. Don't go down and back. High and forward. Vice grip down with your support hand as hard as you can without shaking, and your firing hand grip should feel like you're kind of coming down on a hammer, right? You have good control, but you're not like squeezing it too hard. So, let's go ahead. See, you see how I kind of just lifted it up a little bit right there? Right, that was a little mistake. That's exactly why we're doing this. Because I just went to get in my lockbox and made like a tiny itty bitty mistake. But you don't want to make that mistake in the moment, because I was cool with it right now, but when my life's on the line, if I made that mistake, I'd be like, oh my gosh, right? You don't want to be freaking out in the moment. So let's take our time, make sure. And if you have a magazine inserted, the slide is going to lock back to the rear every single time. So you're going to have to send the slide home. That's just what happens when guns are empty. When there's nothing in the magazine, the slide will lock to the rear. Whoops, see, I forgot to... And once you get up on target, Be intentional with your training. Don't just kind of go through the motions. Make sure that every single rep is as good as you can possibly make it. And really analyze yourself. Be honest with yourself, because this is where, you want to critique yourself. You don't want to just be like, oh, I'm doing really well, right? Every single time, especially if you're newer, there's tons of stuff that you can constantly get better at. Mess around with your grip. See what feels good. Don't just go through the motions. Try to get better every single time you dry fire. And the only way you can do that is if you're being intentional. Right. I'm going on vacation next week. Going to my whole family, in-laws, brother-in-laws, sister-in-laws. We're all going to go down to this place in the Carolinas, so I'm looking forward to that. Oop, see, I started talking and then I forgot to rack the slide. But the thing is this is good, right? It's good to make these like minor mistakes when you're in your house and you're really mellow, right? That's exactly what this is for. So if you do make a mistake, don't like beat yourself up about it. Just acknowledge it and then move forward. You know what I mean? See, I just did it again. I keep thinking about like what I want to talk about in these videos, and I'm trying to like multitask right now, and I cannot multitask. You can ask my wife. I can't multitask. If I'm like texting and my wife is talking to me, like I don't hear anything. It's brutal. So me trying to practice this and also talk to you all is a skill that I am also going to have to improve upon. And if you start to feel more comfortable, you can start to try, right, push it a little bit. But if you're pushing the speed and you get up on target, you're not aiming in, but if you punch out and then your grip doesn't feel good, slow it down. But if you're going really slow and everything feels good, right, you're pretty perfect, that felt great, then go ahead and speed up, right? But don't go faster at the expense of your skills like breaking down. If you feel your skills breaking down, slow down. Remember a good stance too, right? Don't forget your stance. Stay loosey-goosey. In the stance, I can just kind of tilt this down, right? This is my setup right now. I'm trying to, but it's just like a good athletic stance, right? Think like a boxer, right? If you were gonna box somebody, you wouldn't be flat-footed, right? Just kind of jump up like you're gonna box somebody. That's your stance. And you punch out and you're good to go. Like that way you can kind of jump forward, you can jump back, you can move all around. This is the stance you want if you're in a defensive shooting situation. So don't be flat-footed, right? Grab your pistol, right? Move your feet, and then make sure once you're up on target, your stance is also good, right? See how I'm slightly leaning forward? Because once you shoot that pistol, it's going to kind of knock you back. So if you're kind of standing back a little bit, and you have to take 5, 6, 7, 8 shots, eventually it's going to ruin your stance. I don't think I cocked a pistol that time. Again, multitasking. Not my forte. I'm a good pistol shooter, not good at multitasking. Maybe this will help you with that. My wife will be... See, I tried again. Good Lord. But if I can get better at multitasking, my wife's going to be very happy. So practice makes perfect, I guess. All right, if you haven't started to speed it up, see how I just stopped right there? I felt it and it just wasn't good. And I wasn't going to finish it. If it wasn't good, I'll just put it back in, start again. Again, multitasking. Boom. Boom. That was better. Thanks again to all my subscribers. And if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that. Remember to stay loosey-goosey. Remember that grip. Support your hand. Should be vice gripping down as hard as you can without shaking. So when you come up, you know, we're like taking good long rests right now. But if you do like a dry fire training session, your support hand should be tired, right? If you're like really like just shooting, you're not putting it down like every rep. If you're really practicing your shots, your support hand should start to get tired because it should be squeezing the pistol really hard. Your firing hand shouldn't, but your support hand should. And if you want, if you feel comfortable, you know, once you do kind of punch out, you can go ahead and put your finger on the trigger, but that's, you know, totally up to you. Just do what you feel comfortable with, right? You want to kind of push your comfort zone a little bit, but not so much that you're like, oh, this doesn't make me feel comfortable. So if I'm doing anything in these videos that you're not comfortable doing, then, you know, adjust. Doesn't have to be the exact same. These are just supposed to be for ideas. Remember, make sure you're being intentional. I know I keep saying that, but as one of the first, start talking. Good Lord. I'm probably going to get a lot of comments about my lack of ability to multitask. But yeah, just make sure you're being intentional, right? Because you're not going to get better if you're not analyzing yourself. So we have like 3 more minutes here. Let's try and speed up a little bit if you can, if you don't feel comfortable doing that and it's going to affect your kind of skills. Your skills are going to start breaking down. Don't do that. But I'm going to try and get some practice in right now. So let's do these last like 3 minutes together. See? Good practice, right? I messed that up. You want to mess up now. You don't want to mess up in the moment. Don't knock yourself for messing up. But. And remember, if you're like kind of moving around the room, make sure you're moving your feet too. You always want your natural point of aim, like kind of your belt buckle, to be facing your target, right? You don't want to be facing over here and your belt buckle's here. You can kind of do that like quickly if you're coming back. But if that's where you're shooting, just move your feet and adjust your natural point of aim. All right. Okay. And if you're not very proficient at this, then that's, you know, it's not good that you're not, but it's good that you now recognize that you're not, right? So it's something that, like, this is definitely probably one of the more boring dry fire videos I'll probably ever make. But I hope you can appreciate the importance of this type of practice, right? If you can't get into your lockbox efficiently, you got major problems. Grip did not feel good that time. That's okay, right? Just adjust, notice it, move on. Better. Saying in the Marine Corps, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, right? You don't want to like go so fast that like there's probably like a fine line you have to tread, you know? Because if you go too fast, you'll mess up. You know, it's not like there's a limit to how fast you can go, like opening up a lockbox. So tread that line, figure out what it is. That way, in the moment, you'll be good to go. And hopefully you feel better, you know, like by the end of this video, hopefully you're like, oh yeah, I'm a little bit more comfortable opening up my lockbox, getting it to condition 1. And you can also do this at the range too, you know. As long as you have like your pistol facing down range, you can practice this at the range. Like practice getting it out of the box, up on target, taking like 4 or 5 shots. Let's do 2 more. All right, last one. Pick a target and do some aiming. Aim in. Last one, ready? I'm going to do one more because that didn't feel that great, and I don't want to end it on that one. Awesome. All right, that concludes this very first Dry Fire Friday video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me some feedback. I would love feedback if I'm going too fast, covering too much. I do generally talk too fast. I'm trying to work on that. But yeah, I'd love some feedback. I want to get better. And, this is the first time I'm doing it. So hopefully a year from now, my videos are going to be so much more crisp. But you got to start somewhere, and we started today. So if you are just starting pistol training, me starting these videos is like the same as you starting your pistol training. Eventually, you'll get really good. I can't bang myself up because this isn't like the best video. I messed up a couple times because I couldn't multitask, right? Like, don't beat yourself up in the same way about pistol training. Just be consistent, be patient, and you'll get there. I promise you'll get there, and I'll help you get there. So until next time, stay safe, live free. Remember, pistol training is easy with the right training program, and I hope to be that for you. So I'll see you soon. See ya.